fantasy baseball salary cap draft strategy, fantasy baseball analytics is what we're going to cover here. Welcome in to all the subscribers. Welcome into some of the new subscribers if you're just finding the video. And I promise, even if you just log into this one video, I will be covering some 400 level statistics that will change the trajectory of your entire fantasy baseball season. It's going to go down right in this one vlog. So welcome in. Get up your fan graphs. Get up your baseball savant, because we're going to be going in there. And this is the thing. I mean, usually I prepare a little bit more, but I've been listening to pods. I've been listening to RotoWire. I want to see what's out there. And there's not a lot of good stuff out there, boys. So I know that even if I take some time to click through windows and don't have them all prepared to keep it tidy for you, that I am still going to be delivering gem after gem after gem. And you will be outperforming your peers if all they have access to is RotoWire and CBS and this Launch Angle podcast. They're not going to be able to keep up with you, because the 165 OGs that already subscribe to this channel, they know what we're doing here. They know the plan. This season, this is season 4, episode 1. And we're going to do things a little bit differently this season, but the foundation is repeat championships. We're talking about going back to the playoffs and winning championships again. I know, because we drafted together, that we've had a lot of solid teams last season. We were locked in. So I'm listening to podcasts. People were surprised. People did this. People did that. We were drafting for next year's ADP, so we really weren't surprised. The struggle for us is that it just turned out the way it did. It turned out pretty close to what we thought, and we were dominating leagues. We had some ridiculous teams. You were there and you drafted them with me. Who puts Vlad and Tati's Jr. and Otani, and I mean, it's just all on the same team. And those I've had some dominant teams last season, so I know you guys were winning because we were doing this together. That's the other thing for any new subscribers coming in. I just walk you through my draft prep. You do your draft prep. I want you to do your draft prep and grow through yours. But I'm going to be giving you gems and nuggets to make sure that draft prep is better. And at the end of every season, this happened to me last season, I go, that was it, guys. I told you guys everything I knew. I told you everything I had to say. And at the end of each season, I kind of wonder, I go, that's it, because I'm not going to get on here and just keep repeating myself. But what's happened is my commitment to us, to the 165 subscribers, to getting to the playoffs and dominating salary cap drafts. Because if you like to win fantasy baseball, follow along, because that's what we're going to do here. But what happens is I don't know if I can give them any more. But I bring little threads into the season, little Easter eggs, little theories I'm testing out to try to get better year after year after year. And I got a couple more things to share. But this season, we're not doing the basics. We're not going to talk about that. I got to clear something up right now. People just starting to go to the Savant and talk about expected statistics and comparing XBA to BA and XWOBA to WOBA. I found nothing there. Somebody having a weird XBA does not transition to next year. So Scott White on CBS, that's not going to work. That's not even going to help. What I don't hear is anyone on Baseball Savant talking about swing take profile. I just don't. I don't have people making the right observations about exit velocity on barrels. That's my own statistic. I'm getting that myself from the search. I am hearing some mention that people care about max exit velocity. And I respect that. Max does have its place, but we can get even better than that. So I just want to bring you guys along. I want to show you what I've been doing, and we're gonna start, because I don't want to hide the ball from you guys. And I heard an outrageous thing. Somebody give me, well, they think that the top 7 guys is pretty clear, and those aren't my top 7 guys. So right now, I want to bring you from square one what I'm doing in draft prep, and we walk you through. We make an Excel spreadsheet, sure, yeah, that's where I'm gonna That's where I'm going to list the names. And immediately, I guess I have to share where I deviate. This is salary cap draft strategy. This isn't snake. I'm not going to just read ADP to you and be like, I think, and my feelings. I'm not going to do that to you. This is salary cap draft. So what's important to catch on my sheet is really the difference between players. I'm not just going to be handed a draft pick and be allowed to just pick from the pool. I'm going to have to actively go select my player. So I need to know how much better is a player than another player. And so when I make the sheet, I'm not looking at projections. I'm just going raw talent and looking at things slightly differently. So yeah, it's going on an Excel spreadsheet. I got starting pitchers to one side, outfielders come across the infield, closers, how it's going to go. But I just want to share that framework of salary cap versus snake, because it's going to mean something different, and we have to go through players. I mean, this is the first episode. I want to talk about a lot of guys, but I'm starting at the top. I want to know who is the best player. If you had to shove it all in to have the best player in the league, who is it? I want to know who's at the very top, who are the best pitchers. But a couple little tweaks I'm making this season, because we have to be better. I mean, I just saw a championship just sitting there for the taking last season. It was just such a good year to come in and see guys make mistakes and come and sweep it up. But I don't think it's going to be that easy this season, because there's just not no Tani just sitting there for free late in the draft. So we're going to have to do things a little bit differently. We're going to outwork our competition as usual. We're going to be a little bit more prepared, but I want to be ready sooner. And we're going to do a little bit of a pitching renaissance this season, because I got a little bit better with game. I got a couple things to share with you, so we're going to get better at pitching. We're going to be ready to draft sooner. We're going to be ready to get it all in. I believe it's Andrews on the RotoWire podcast. They're floating these theories about only having maybe 50% of the player pool on your draft sheet. So they're trying to just get guys out of the way. And I mean, we've talked about that for a long time. Stop making mistakes. Don't make those mistakes. Don't even put them on the list. So when I make my list, I get it myself. I don't even look at last year's list. I don't even bring it up. I just start again. Go to the numbers, start again. But this is the thing today. I want to get you jumping out, boom, right to a burst, right, getting it done in your draft prep. Here's just a game-changing feature on Baseball Savant. Let me just start with nugget number one, because you've already paid the price. You've already listened for 750 minutes, and I haven't even said anything about baseball, but I'm so confident about what we're about to get done here. I'm not even going to worry about it. Baseball Savant, leaderboards, batting, and here it is. Under batting, percentile rankings. This was kind of new. This was a new tabulation from last season. But this is amazing. This can't be something that you just sprinkle into your draft sheet at the very end. Percentile rankings has it all. It has an amazing ability to identify players. I mean, I was listening, I don't know if it was Scott or Azer, and they were talking about how they were wrong on Teoscar. Well, I was right on Teoscar, and that was from the expected statistics. And so from the expected statistics, you can go right in. It starts with xWOBA. But what I really like about here, percentile rankings leaderboard. What I like here is it's not the number, it's the percentile versus their peers for each of the categories that we care so dearly about. WOBAs, ISOs, OBPs, barrel percentages, whiff rates. They even put speed on here for me. So I really can see the entire player. You have to live here and you have to sort here. That's done. Stop watching. Close the video. That might be enough. That might be enough to just change your whole season. I can go in here and I can go into xWOBA and look at who's at the top of the list. Those players played well last season. Click on barrels. Sort barrels. Look at them right there. Ohtani, 100. Vlad Guerrero Jr., 100. Perez, Devers, Tatis, Judge. They're all there, 98. There's the barrel percentage. Of course, we'll be teasing that apart, but you got to scroll down and you got to see who else is in this list. This is going to help you evaluate. Go through each one of these columns. And it's something I could kind of say as I'm making these draft sheets, to use the Venn diagram approach. That each stat I'm kind of splashing onto my sheet to see the players. Who's at the top of barrel? Who's at the top of ISO? Who's at the top of maybe XOBP, which will favor walks? Who likes to walk? Oh, there's Soto. So Soto and Freeman are the highest in XOBP with Harper. Not so much Otani or Tatis for XOBP because those guys walk. So we can tease that apart. But here's really the magic when you're on percentile rankings leaderboard. Look horizontally at the player because this can clear up some deception in the numbers. Let me find somebody on here who can be good in one area but deceiving in another. I mean, I can't find Ronald, but it's typically somebody like your Miguel Sano's or your Gallows. They may be amazing at exit velocity. Yeah, I'll do exit velocity. Okay, they're great. There's Miguel Sano. He's 97% exit velocity. Do we put him on top of our sheet? No. Scroll your eye across. His X batting average is 5%. That's unplayable. So you can start to see the profile of the player across the way. Look at Otani. He's amazing. A 71% XBA. Just a slight ding there. So you can see where your vulnerabilities are for players across the board. So that's just one tool. Percentile rankings leaderboard on Baseball Savant. Go start making your sheets. That's it. It's over. Show's over. But that's not really true. I have more for you than that. If I were to my first moment, I was looking at baseball, but my very first second that I entertained doing this, you go to fangraphs.com, gotta do it, batting 2021, and let's just take a peek. Let's just see what happened. It sorts by WAR, so you got to deal with that. So, these are the players that had good seasons. But this is one of my favorite places to just look at counting stats, to look how it shakes out. It's all laid out here. You can scan across. Trey Turner, a 6.9 WAR, 28 bombs, 32 bases, 107 runs, only 77 RBI, but he had a 328 average. You can see the whole thing here. This will immediately kind of be the intersection of when I start to care about speed. Because the difference in some of these elite players is, Vlad Guerrero Jr. with 48 home runs, 123 runs, 11 ribbies, but not bases, hitting 311. How do you feel about that? You've got to decide how you feel about Vlad Guerrero Jr. versus come down a little bit here to Fernando Tatis Jr., 42 home runs less, 90, 99, 97, a little bit less than Vlad in that middle of that lineup, powerhousing it, but 25 bases. The average down a little bit, 282. So you got to decide, do you want to get your bases there? Do you want to get that hitting there? Maybe you want to look past Tatis and Vlad. Look at the walk to K ratio here and notice Juan Soto doing 22% walks to 14.2% K rate. He's walking more than he strikes out. If you want money in the bank for a breakout, it's Juan Soto. So do you like Juan Soto more than Vlad Guerrero? Because Juan Soto has the superior plate discipline. Juan hit 313, Vlad hit 311. Oh, you don't have the power? So this is where speed immediately comes into the conversation. And the thing about WAR, the thing that we really don't trust WAR, is we have Shohei Ohtani here. How low is he down here? He's down at a 5.1. He's the 18th player. He went 46, 103, 126. Okay, with the 300 BABIP for a 257 average. So that's a very, very exciting fantasy player. And that's not perfectly reflected in WAR because I am taking Shohei Ohtani over Bogarts, Brandon Lowe, Carlos Correa, guys who had superior WARs last season. So just saying you can't go by that. Here's another little gem. The reason I said I gotta go on here for the boys, because there's more stuff to talk about in the fantasy baseball statistic landscape. We have Fangraphs. If you scroll those little tabs on the dashboard, standard, advanced, pitch type, plate discipline, we will go through those. But we're just getting started. We're looking for the best players in the game. We want to know who the very best talent in the game is. And they have a last tab here. It says StatCast New. And this isn't the same StatCast New that I told you guys from last season. This is a new StatCast New, where Fangraphs knows that it needs to pull more information from Baseball Savant and give it to us here on this website. This stuff is important. And they tabulate it very nicely. So go over to StatCast New and look at this. So what did they sort that? What is this even sorted by? Exit velo? What did they pick? They sorted it by exit velo. Okay, that's fine. Aaron Judge, number 1 exit velo. Vlad, Stanton, Tatis. So if they pick exit velo, they think maybe velo is most important. It helps. Obviously, hitting the ball very hard helps. Helps get balls in, helps get balls out. So you can sort things here. You can find the Savant data, but it's kind of nice the way it's tabulated over here, and that it's more sortable than the Savant. But there's something really cute on here. One of the sorts that we'll get back to, but I just want to say sort events. Sort the column events. Events is ball strikes. And I just found it very interesting to see guys who get after the ball a little bit more than guys who are more select. It just another tidbit for you to go into your draft prep as you're looking to find who the best player is. So I've been scouring all these lists, and we're going to go make your sheet. My top 5 hitters for the 2022 season. And this is not going to change. The reason I use my sheet is because I put guys up into a realm. We make tiers and then we break tiers. We go and we find guys to consider, and then I isolate that pool and I run some further analysis on that pool and I sort that pool out. And if somebody makes it out of that pool into another pool, maybe I'll compare them. But we just make our way through the pool. There's 5 names that are not gonna move for me, that after you click through all these buttons and base for me on upside and potential, that are not gonna move for me. They're the most important 5 players going into the draft. Number 1, Fernando Tatis Jr. Do I need to say more about Fernando Tatis? I guess I could. Let's see. I'm going to go to Baseball Savant. I'm going to pull up Fernando Tatis' player page. And just notice the red. Notice the red on the barrels, the red's on the exit, the red's on the slugs. That's the beginning. It could be a career of red for Fernando Tatis. This looks like the beginning of a Mike Trout-like career for me. But you can look at it there. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole because we have to be able to have a conversation for the rest of the preseason about something that is not being discussed in the fantasy baseball industry, and that resides in swing take profile. And what I think is these guys are a little scared. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s player page, swing take profile. This is the thing. I've been listening to podcasts, and they've been driving me crazy listening to bad takes. One of the bad takes was somebody on the Launch Angle podcast. How can you name your podcast that and not be a little deeper into the analytics? But okay. And he says something like, the StatCast doesn't like the player. What? They don't choose. A player isn't secretly good but doesn't show up on StatCast. That's a player that doesn't like to hit the ball hard, or doesn't have a lot of velo, or it doesn't have a high sprint speed. The StatCast doesn't have feelings. It's analytics. So but anyway, so I'm here on Tatis Jr.'s player page. Follow me right underneath his name where it says Player Apps. The 4th tab over is Swing Take Profile. This is what I said. This is 400 level. If you're looking for a little bit of talk about ADP and when to take closers and catchers, this isn't for you. We're going a little deeper than that. Look at this diagram next to the player. First, you got to see that there's a plus 38 run value. And run value, this is going to keep showing up. We're going to look at it for individual pitches, players. We're going to look at it for pitchers. This run value is a good number. I think it's a number that's a little bit better than O swing, O contact, Z swing. I think it's a little better than that. I think it's a merger of zone contact with some hit data. It also, on plate discipline and eye, so you see this here, you have a 38 run value. But look at these zones. Heart, the pink, in the middle of the plate. Shadow, straddling the strike zone, a little bit in, a little bit out of the strike zone. More on that in a second. The chase, outside the shadow and the waist outside. And we can look at performance. We can see how aggressive, how busy players are getting in different areas like this. And it really breaks down. You want your batter swinging in the heart. You want your batter taking chase and waste. And they will get a run value from taking bad pitches, but also hitting in the heart. The shadow is kind of the ambiguous zone where a lot plays out. So now that we have this basic understanding, and I'll go, this is a little segue. So I was watching a lot of pitching last season. And the reason we're going to do a pitching renaissance, because I am trying to get a better sense of what is going on in the shadow. Why is the shadow important? Because the shadow is some strikes and it's some balls. And what I'm finding, particularly with the Clayton Kershaw, who had an amazing season last season, the strike zones are all over the place. They are all over the place, game after game, ump after ump. Every starter I watch, strike zones are a little over, a little here. It might be off the plate. A guy might be giving you low or up. But for some reason, but particularly Clayton Kershaw has an amazingly big strike zone, and he is never on the plate. He just isn't in the heart. I mean, I watch whole starts, he's not there. I think he'd rather walk guys and be kind of off the plate, and he puts the pressure on the umpire to give him borderline calls. That's Clayton Clayton put that there. And so there's a certain kind of a demand of respect. The fact that these pitchers can show control, that guys like Clayton or Greinke can maybe find the outside of the zone, they can move over 2 inches. Is it there? Is it there? Once they establish it with the umpire, they just pound it, and they're not going in the heart. If a pitcher throws hard but lacks control, a mistake is something that should have been low, but lifted up into the heart and got punished. So that's just something to say that the strike zone is moving. It's not being accounted for, and that's leading to a lot of variance because there's different strike zones all the time. I watched the Huascar Ynoa start. I was watching because I was watching a lot of Ynoa. I like to watch my guys. I like to see how it works. For some reason, I want to watch a lot of Tyler Mallett. But I'm watching Huascar Ynoa of the Atlanta Braves, and the umpire's not giving him calls. At this point, he was on a little bit of a tear. He was tossing 96, 97 cheddar. And just a touch point, when you see an average velocity on fastball, which is important, and we'll get into velo on fastball, pitchers don't just throw the same exact speed every pitch. They got a little bit of reach back speed. They can maybe take a little something off at times. They can kind of pace themselves. Maybe the velo drops as they get later in the innings. But it's not all the same pitch. So if you see somebody that says their average velocity is 95 or 96, there's a good chance they're touching 98s. And that's what Ynoa was doing. So he's not getting calls. He's not getting borderline calls. And there's a lot of pressure in baseball. There's a big difference between 2-2 and 3-2. So, and what kind of pitch can be thrown in that count? And so when he went into that dugout and he smashed his fist into, I think, the wall or the bench, he was mad at the ump, who just, you can see the box on the video and the ball's bloop, bloop. It's just, it's touching it. So they would be strikes, but not in that strike zone that day. And it just blew Ynoa's mind, and he just couldn't deal with it well, and he smashed his hand, and it changed his season. But that's there. So the thing, so under some total, they grab this run value. I don't know how much to give you here. I'll give you one more little bit, but you go over to the one after the picture, after the diagram, under the swing take itself. They give you a gray bar that says league average. And there's a huge difference here when you're drafting a Tatis versus drafting a Soto. League average on balls over the heart is 74% swing. Tatis is swinging 87% of the time. He's all over it. Don't get out of there. Stay away from him. If I switch over to a Soto, he's only swinging 70% of the time. But Soto is amazing at chase and waste. He doesn't touch it. I don't know if he's even swung at waste. He just, so the eye is different, But in terms of what we want for fantasy, we want guys putting the ball in play. Unless you're trying to just get guys that are just going to walk. Or so it's a sensitivity there. And I kind of need you to balance, because we have to flip swing take over to the pitching side. We have to swing it back over. That a ball not swinging at a bad pitch is points for a hitter and run value. A pitcher getting a hitter to swing at a ball outside the zone is good for a pitcher. Pitchers don't want to be in the heart. Pitchers don't want to give up good contact in the heart. You get to the shadow, it's the same thing. So these numbers are being reversed. So I just want to say that not swinging, it's just that the run value is not really runs. It's not guys going around the bases. It could just be taking or swinging or whatever. So we have that there. Getting back to my players. Number one overall player for me, hitter, Fernando Tatis Jr. Number 2, Shohei Ohtani. Number 3, I don't care about the injury, Ronald Acuna Jr. What I see here, because I'll give up that little bit in average, is 5 category steals, 40 homer upside, elite young steps forward. I mean, these are what's in the box type players that we don't know what they're gonna do, but I expect lead domination, Ronald Acuna. And then right in that same cluster, because I think there could be an argument for going the other way if you think you don't need speed, because we identified Miles Straw last season, so we knew when to get speed off of waivers. That wasn't tricky. Now he's overvalued. We'll have to find another one. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Juan Soto. So these 5 guys that I have sloughed apart, besides what I said about them here today, we could go more into their player pages, and you should go in and see them. Go see the swing take profile, see the differences there. Those 5 guys are not going to move for me. I haven't looked at prices yet, and we will get to prices, but I'm trying to make a true list based on upside, kind of targeting, again, next year's ADP. Obviously, after that group, I'm looking at who's next. If I'm wrong about those 5, who should be up there? Who should we think about to be up there? Who could challenge them? Should I compare? Who's close? What's the next group? And they pop up from just looking at the usual numbers. But let's jump over. Let's do another little tool. Baseball Savant, bouncing around a little bit. Baseball Savant, hitting, swing take. Got to give it a second to load. Swing take profile for hitters. You're going to have to sort it. Somehow they went to all years. No, of course we don't want that. Just want 2021. Okay, here it is. They added them up. I 400 level guy, Sharky, getting Sharky with you, but I know you want it. I know you guys are here for it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 59 run value. How does he get it? 25 in the heart, -2 in the shadow, chase, and waste. Generally, shadow is not good for hitters. It's not good. They want to hit balls in the heart. Some of the shadow is not even a strike. They can't get a good barrel on it because it's not good in the zone. It could be low, could be away. So everybody struggles in the shadow. I mean, only Freddie Freeman has a 2 and Ohtani has a 3. And the rest of the top 15 are negative in the shadow. It's not where the hitter wants to be. Where they do like to be is in the heart. And you see Vlad Jr., 25 in the heart. Juan Soto, 8 in the heart. Harper, 13 in the heart. Freddie Freeman, -3 in the heart. And there's that little bit of fade. For me and Freddie Freeman again. Ohtani, only 3 in the heart. Devers, 14. Reynolds, 16, 22. Muncy, JD. So you can see how they're doing. I mean, JD, 32 in the heart, but -20 in the shadow. And then they pick up some change for how well they're doing in the chase and the waste, the stuff that they shouldn't be swinging at. And you see the difference is that Vlad, stronger in the heart, swinging more often, more frequently, but not as strong in the chase because he is going after more pitches. Juan Soto, who isn't as strong in the heart, has a 36 in the chase because of how much he just spits on things outside the zone, probably the leader there. So you can sort those and start to see how players are getting it done. But I got a little trick here. Because I noticed that even this, especially when I switch the other direction, it's not perfect. I go, this has some guys in it that I don't think are the best guys. Like, why is Brian Reynolds here at 7? That's not going to be good for me. I don't want to start. Brian Reynolds isn't going next. Brian Reynolds isn't in the tier with Ohtani and the rest of the guys. Not for me. Well, maybe not yet, but I'll consider him. He'll go on the sheet. If I sort by pitches, we start to get a different feel, because pitches is likely attempts. So a person who had more, because this runs thing is cumulative. It's very count based. It's not percentile based. So like if you go to the shortened season, the run value only got up to 20 for the best player because they didn't hit that much. So this has an accumulation effect. So how do we account for that? How do we sort that out? This is going to come up again. So I sort by pitches. So now Freddie Freeman is 46th, but he's got the most pitches. So we go down. We go, Austin Riley, he's a 34. What's more interesting is that Devers produced a 43 and less pitches than Austin Riley. Who's next? Aaron Judge, a 38 and less pitches than Devers. So you start to have a little bit of a balance. Who's better? Devers, who did a 43 on 2,600 pitches, 2,680, or Judge, who did a 38 on 2,640. Regardless, at 2,600 pitches, you got Juan Soto doing a 54. So if you see the way I'm working that, I mean, Juan Soto's 54 is going to be dominant, but it shows how much more dominant it is when you sort it by where they are and how much opportunity they got to hit the ball. So if you're still kind of with me there, my point would be that JD Martinez's 39 is a little bit better than Aaron Judge's. It's pretty marginal at this point, but it shows that Vlad at 2,500 pitches with a 59, that's even more amazing. Who do we got down here? Bryce Harper at only 2,400 pitches had a 54. That earned him an MVP. You keep going down, it gets better. So Teoscar Hernandez on even less pitches, a 36. So really be impressed. There's kind of a crossover here. Really be impressed by a guy with less pitches, a less opportunity to earn these runs, still generating a high number. I mean, Brandon Crawford had a good year. I think we're giving him credit for it. CJ Cron. So way down here, Castellanos did a 33 on 2,100 attempts, but you got Fernando Tatis Jr. did a 38 on only 2,141 pitches. That's about 500 less. Did I say he did a 38 on 500 less than like a JD Martinez, Bo? I mean, Aaron Judge was 38. He had 500 more pitches to deal with. So there's a pretty steep increase. And this is going to be another way for you to compare pitchers, compare hitters. It's going to happen on the pitching side too. And things are popping out. Starlin Marte, Jesse Winker. So just another tool, swing take profile. Get in there like that and work with that and trust that. It's not even being discussed. 33 minutes. We've changed the course of our entire fantasy baseball seasons with just 2 or 3 tools. But I'm gonna give you some names here because we want to win, and I get frustrated with the pods. Why right now do I want to spend an hour reviewing catchers between 100 and 200 on ADP? Why would I ever do that? Why? I want to look at the best players. And if James Anderson says that he's going to try to limit the player pool to only half of it, or 50%, 60% of the player pool, as in don't put guys that are trash on your draft list because they're littered in ADP. Don't make those mistakes. Narrow your vision. Have your ladder. He's kind of saying the same thing. You have to go through the players. You have to make it. You have to decide who to exclude and who not to. After sorting through those things, I have 4 names that can cannot be ignored this season. I don't know what their prices are. I know that they're not, maybe not going to be considered in the Super League, even though I am hearing that Bo Bichette, I don't know where he's going, but it may be in the top 5 or 6, no idea. These 4 names likely to be pillars this season. It's not going to change, and that's where in the sheet, like I said, I working down and stretching all the players way down in the Excel sheet. Line 140, I might bring them down to 300, and then pick a stat and just pull up who needs to be pulled up. And you'll start to get that Venn diagram like effect, and then pull everybody down, bring them up by X WOBA, pull everybody down, bring them up, and that's why I'm putting names on the sheet. But Yordan Alvarez, Bo Bichette, Rafael Devers, and Austin Riley. These guys can't be ignored. These guys cannot be ignored from the conversation. They're going to be substantial studs. If you want to look for how ADP is going to kind of rattle your mind for next season and you want first round upside, those are the guys. The classics, obviously, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Trey Turner, Jose Ramirez, who I don't love, Freddie Freeman, I'll give him the respect. Okay. And then I have to throw in Kyle Tucker. So Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez, Bo Bichette, Rafael Devers, Austin Riley, they're not going to move for me. And I haven't decided yet if I want to solidify them into, say, a number 6 position. I don't have the 6th guy yet. I have the 5. I'm looking for the 6th. But you know what? I pulled up enough hitters. We've been dominating hitting. Should I go a little deeper? Have we not? Should we crush some more? Yeah. I just want to sort out the outfield and tell you some things I'm already seeing, some names I'm already high on. You're going to be used to this. Luis Robert, of course, we're going again. Mike Trout, Teoscar Hernandez, and here's the 2, Byron Buxton and Eloy Jimenez. I just see a lot of need for that in the outfield. I think that those are the upside. Those are the toolsy guys, power, speed. It's shaken out, and then it's all the usual. We're not going to go much deeper in that because this is where I made the transition to us doing this a little differently this season. I said we're going to get good at pitching, and we're going to get good at pitching early because I see a complete mess. I see pretenders at the top of the list. I see volatility. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at myself from last season. I told you guys to draft Kenta Maeda, and if you have Maeda, I did too. I fall on the sword with you. It was ugly, and I'm not happy about it, and I want to eliminate those types of mistakes from my game. What do Luis Castillo, Lucas Giolito, and Kenta Maeda have in common? It was heavy reliance on a big season of a changeup, of a high whiff rate on a changeup, probably an unsustainably high whiff rate on a changeup. I'm not going to be mesmerized by high whiff rates on changeups anymore. I want the hard stuff because the changeup being such a field pitch, requiring the velocity differential between the fastball and the change, something about the tunneling. These guys might have a season where that combination between the fastball change is just lethal, just vicious. And what I started to think about more is the cat and mouse that the hitters are doing to adjust, that pitchers are finding hitters' holes, and then hitters have to adjust. But are we ignoring that pitchers have to mix arsenals, have to change sequencing and game plans, so maybe they have to adjust? And we might see a little story about that with Zach Wheeler and how he's made his improvements, a guy who we've always liked but seen some flaws in, that he continued to get better. So there might be cat and mouse on the pitching side. And I want to be better at pitching. I want to have better pitchers. I've been, we haven't met in a little while, but I have been salary cap drafting and NFL, NBA, for the sport, of course, but a little bit more for the salary cap draft itself. And one of the things I realized as I merged an NBA theory with MLB is that we should get wide. We should get all the categories we can get. So this season, we're gonna get saves. We're gonna get runs. We're gonna try to make very, very dominant, balanced teams wide. And what that means is that's gonna take more time getting pitchers right and being able to sort through the mess that is the beginning. That is what is happening with the high end of starting pitchers. And what I see is we had the injuries, so some guys weren't there. Verlander, Severino, Thor not pitching. We had some surprises from maybe a Peralta. Carlos Rodon gets hot. How much do you believe in that? You saw Bieber didn't quite do it. Giolito didn't quite get us where we need to be. Robbie Ray surged. But we have to know who really do we believe in next season. We always believed in Clayton, but we didn't know he was going to go, former Zero Dark Cy Young on us. We got a couple new names, so we're going to have to spend a little bit of time there. But the thing that I'm doing is I'm just looking at pitchers across the board. I want to see, because I really want to know the closer role. We've got openers happening. We've got guys bouncing in and out of roles. And so if somebody has a filthy individual pitch, has dominant K to B ratios, that we should compare closers or holds guys to the rest of the pack. And that'll give us a sense. Because one thing you'll notice is Jake DeGrom's dominance is that he is the most dominant pitcher inning per inning, more dominant than any of the closers. He'll just do it for 7 or 8 innings so that, you can compare that level of dominance. So there's 3 pitchers that I am highly confident on. I'm not getting concerned. There is an obsession in the industry with projected games, with volume of games. That's the last number I want to look at. You could imagine from a bat projection or whatever that somebody's going to get 150 at-bats or 150 games, whatever, 600, 700 at-bats. They could run to first base, pull a hammy, and 6 weeks is gone. Why would we chase games? It just makes no sense to me. We're drafting talent. If the guy's not healthy, we'll just put injured and we'll just not draft him. But until I find out about injury status, Jake DeGrom is number 101 right now. Just too good. Behind him, obviously, the big dog Corbin Burns. And then I got Max Scherzer. The group behind here, because we're gone a little bit, I had to get the original tools out to you. I'll see if I have any more notes here to kind of polish this off. I want to talk a little salary cap, go into a little bit more meta level there. But the guys that I am consistently pushing up, I've got a big chunky grouping here. I've got feelings about these guys. And this goes pretty much in the order I have them right now. Garrett Cole, Shane Bieber, Carlos Rodon, Freddie Peralta, Yu Darvish, Lance Lynn, Brandon Woodruff, Zach Wheeler, Walker Buehler. I mean, we have our work cut out for us. We have to sort these guys out and decide who is the real deal, who's going to bring it for us. Because look who's right behind him. Trevor Bauer, Shohei Ohtani. I like a Trevor Rogers. See, this is the line where I start to get a little cute. Logan Webb, Lance McCullers Jr., Max Fried, Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, Lucas Giolito, Robbie Ray, Kevin Gausman, Aaron Nola, Luis Castillo again, and a Ranger Suarez. So as I look at who I'm gonna put behind Max Scherzer, and it's not easy. It's probably Garrett Cole right now, and I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now live because I'll say the stuff is too good, and I'll get into with you why I'm on a Garrett Cole. So going over to Fangraphs, leaderboards, pitching, 2021, you're always going to go here. I like the advanced tab. I like that K to BB percentage. I just have to take a peek at the filth there. I usually kind of start there and piece it out. But what I found last season, this is a little bit of an in-season tip that I'm going to take with me out of the season, is that I started going to game logs and I started looking at the O-swing, Z-contact, swinging strike rates on game logs and seeing what the base was, what the floor was, and what guys could pop. So let's just take, for example, Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's player page, Fangraphs. I'm going to show you where to go. I just want to show you guys where to live a little bit before we really start grinding through some of this talent. Just kind of get you in a frame of mind for the stats we're looking at. So we're here on Garrett Cole. We're going to go to Garrett Cole's game log. The dashboard is where it starts. This is important, the dashboard. The things that I will scan on the dashboard is the IP, the innings pitched. I want to see some longer games. I don't want to see 5s. I want to see 6-7, 6-7. You know, it could be a 5 occasionally. Just get a sense of it, get a feel. I want to come over, I want to see earned runs. I want to see if there were blow-ups. I'm looking at Garrett Cole. Okay, somebody gave up 5, he gave up 7. He gave up 7-5 at the end of the season. Maybe wore down. Cleveland, Toronto, you can see the matchup. All right, not too many blow-ups. Look at the home runs. See, Garrett, that's the thing with Garrett that we will have to discuss. Garrett had a home run problem, and so that's why I'm not sure with how much bombs he was giving up. But the stuff is so filthy, you probably just have to get on board. You look at the strikeouts. Double-digit strikeout games, yeah, that excites me. Those are gems. 13, 10, 11, 12, 12, 12, 11, 10, 15 against the Angels. Went 7 innings, 15 Ks, 1 earned. I mean, give me a break. So stuff like that. That's just in the game log. I have to look at it. The other smaller metrics, they're almost too granular on a per game level to really look at, but just see how those games went. Then on the game log page, you can come across again and you have pitch type. Pitch type. And I get into pitch type here because now I want to see basically fastball velocity, what we're going to get behind. Why would I take Kenta Maeda? He's 31 years old and he only threw 92 or 93 miles an hour. That's against how we draft players. We need our pitchers throwing 94 miles an hour at least. We prefer 95, 96, 97. So we're going to be getting on board with velo all the time. And here's Cole, straight 96, 97s, racks it up to 98. And this will also give you a sense from game to game how fresh guys are, how that arm is. And again, it's not just 98. It's some are 96, some are 100. Very hard to hit. What else is he sprinkling in? What else is in the mix? He's got sliders, curveballs, and changes. Now, if the pitcher is only throwing the pitch about 4%, 6%, I don't really think that's an offering. That's him sprinkling it in. 14%, 15, 20, that's him really throwing the pitch. So Garrett's using the change, comes and goes, the curveball. He's more fastball slider, but he clearly is 4-pitch mix. The other thing to know, which is subtle here, it's too bad for Fangraphs, maybe they could step their game up, is Baseball Savant is separating 4-seamers from 2-seamers, also considered the sinker. And Fangraphs does not catch that. So occasionally, you will have pitchers that are showing extremely high fastball usages, and you won't know until you go over to Baseball Savant that was actually 30% 4-seamers and 25% 2-seamers or sinkers. And you'll have to kind of tease that apart because the I have a problem with the sinker, and we can talk about that another time. So there he is. Just get a feel for the mix. We like the big boy fastball. We see he's using everything. You can check the bandwidth. So he works at 98. The slider works at 88. The curve gets down to 82. He's got a change at 89. So he's got a little bit of everything there. And then finally, probably the biggest one is plate discipline. The thing that you're going to jump on the most here is that swinging strike. We need swinging strike to be 12 or higher. We're more happy in 13, 14, 15 to be really filthy. I mean, Garrett averaged a 14.5 swinging strike for the season, but you see games here where he popped 23, 21, 20, 25. So there's some swinging strike days when Garrett gets extremely, extremely filthy. The other one that I find important is the Z contact. These are games when he just kind of shut guys down, wasn't really hittable. I mean, 70s, mid-70s, low 70s is excellent for zone contact, for suppression for pitchers. There's some games in here. Garrett did 69.6. Garrett took Baltimore for a 64. So that's just like microscopic, couldn't be hit, zone contact, probably going in the zone, they couldn't get after him. You know, occasionally got Toronto hit him hard. Who knows? Who knows with strike zones? Who knows what this was? But there are times when that can shut down. You can also look at swinging strike and look at the floor. I mean, there's only one game versus Houston that he went to a 6. He's got a Minnesota game in 8. He's got Toronto game in 8. But other than that, that swinging strike doesn't fall down. So that stuff just doesn't disappear. We're going to see a lot of other players that may have upside that goes to 15, 16 on the swinging strike on the good games, but their floor might be a 4 or 5, or they might have half their games be a very low swinging strike with the other half. And those are games where the stuff is kind of shutting off a little bit. And so in season, when you're looking to grab a guy and to see, is this for real? You know, you've only got 5 starts from a guy and you're trying to figure out, well, do I stream him? You know, what could he give me? And you kind of want to see, did that swinging strike touch 16? Did that zone contact ever go 80 or sub 80? And if you do see that, then at least you can identify a little bit of upside in the pitchers. I think it's important because these will be averaged, and this is why swing strike percentage is so important generally. You can look at the average, but it doesn't quite show you the distribution, doesn't quite show you the pop. And we're drafting the pop. We're drafting that little extra bit of upside to get those extra gems. We might be staying a little bit away from the floor. That's Garrett Cole right there. So when I go down here, are there some other things I noticed? Yeah. So I'm looking for the best players, and I'm like, all right. I got the 5 best hitters. I'm okay with DeGrom and Corbin Burns. Should I do another pick? No. But I want to show you another tool because it's right here in the roster resource, and I'll close it out. I'll seal the deal. And if it was the only vlog you watched to get your fantasy baseball salary cap draft strategy, draft prep going, I just want to make sure that I got it all done with you today here, that we really closed it out and got you ready. Roster resource has made its way over to Fangraphs. Don't do it to me. They're not going to let me do it. Oh no, I can get it right there. Roster resource. Go to a team. I just clicked on the Blue Jays because it was in the corner. And this is our best bet. And this is where I go to kind of get the universe. And this is a little bit extra detail too. When you're looking at roster resource, they'll give you the lineup, they give you the ages, which I really like. And I go down and you can see the staffs, you can see the starting pitching, you can see the closer that they think. This is presumed, nothing in stone here. But it gives you an idea of where the player's at. And basically, you should go through every team and just get a sense. Because like I found out that Noah Syndergaard is on the Los Angeles Angels. You know, just start getting that stuff into your mind where these guys moved around a little bit. I mean, did I just click on Toronto right here? Am I in Toronto? Why do I see Jose. This can't be Toronto. It's Toronto. Jose Barrios is the number 1 starter. Kevin Gausman is the number 2. So guys are moving around, but let me make this a little bit better for you. Scroll all the way over to the right where it says 2021 stats. That's what they did. But what's cute in here is 2021 projections. My mouse highlight over it. Come on, give me that projection. There it is. 2022 projections. Oh, interesting. So what I like about this, for the hitters, you can get an idea. Do we think there's going to be some speed? Do we see 30 home run power? These are conservative projections. I don't know what the system is using, if Roster Resource is using its own, if this is Steamer, but they're decent. But I like this for the pitchers because I can quickly see from a very conservative projection system, am I looking at sub 4 ERAs, as I see from Barrios and Gausman? The other thing I want to compare is that strikeout to innings pitched, because I'd like the strikeouts to be higher than the innings pitched. And it can just give me an idea of, just make sure that I don't ignore anybody. So there's Barrios, okay, 201 strikeouts to 196 innings. You got Gausman, 205 to 188. They're both on our radar. We have to consider them. Maybe one of them is going to be the best pitcher next season. We'll have to look at the stuff. But you can see an Alec Manoa, the 4th pitcher, with 163 strikeouts over 147 innings pitched. That's going to move him up on my list. That's going to get his name on my list, and that's going to move him up a little bit because I like Caper 9. You want to get real cute? You can go on that projection sheet. You can go down to pitch type, and they will show you velocities. They will show you percentages. The StatCast Advanced will start to show you K rates. So it's a nice little way. It's a nice little shortcut to go through all the teams, get some projections, get the universe of players out there in front of you a little bit, and start sprinkling some names down onto the sheet. I start adding bolding, coloring, highlighting to the sheet, all sorts of things. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I can't leave without talking a little bit of salary cap draft strategy. I believe I am seeing generally, and we're coming off of the NBA, we'll have to see what baseball is like, a little bit of an umbrella effect. While we do play go get your guys, the difference in every draft is who's in the umbrella. I'll call it the umbrella. Because the umbrella, for me, is the first 30 to 50 guys nominated, just because they're nominated in this group, up in the top of the umbrella. Because the umbrella is getting lifted by the helium, it's floating away. Just because they're in this group, they will go for a premium. So the difference on getting somebody kind of cheap in one draft and getting is some guy saying, I'm going to nominate sleepers. You know, that's going to kind of throw you upside down. So you have to know very precisely what you're spending into the umbrella, because if you can let the umbrella go, if there's things in the umbrella that aren't that good that are being overpaid for, what falls in behind that is the value. And you can't always plan this, so there's a little bit of an intersectional component to us getting exactly their guy. As you know, I like to do my first draft every year. We just name our players and we go get them and we see what they cost. You know, like Tati's for 66, whatever it takes, he's going on the team. That's one way to play it. If I want to play umbrella games, I can say, no, I know what I'm going to spend. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hunt value, kind of hunt my guys. So there's a combination. There's an intersectional effect. And the way I'm looking to capitalize on this with my draft prep is to have a better sense of where I meld pitchers in with hitters. That I know that would I rather go here or there, how they interrelate, and interrelate some closers, so that I really know my feelings on the umbrella and where I'm going to spend on them going into the salary cap. I'm just taking another peek. I just wanted to take a quick survey if there was anything else that I wanted to fire off to you guys. There's nothing gleaming that well. We're just getting warmed up. I'm listening to the podcast out there now. I can just vent a little bit. The talk about ADP has already begun. It's already started. It's draft champions. They're analyzing it. There's going to be some movers. Would you pay for this? Would you get him here? I don't like him at this price. I can never even talk about that, because in salary cap, we're going to pay for the guy. It really is an entirely different approach to the players. I think I'm not even good at snake anymore because I'm just too jumpy, because I don't do the coordinated ADP dance of drafting, and I'd be setting them in all over the place, setting them in. So that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. We're going to keep plugging along. I asked myself at the end of the season, is there anything else I have for these guys? I can't tell you. I can't keep saying the same things every season. I can't keep repeating myself, but I had just a little bit more for you guys. So I'm gonna fire my shot this season. We're gonna shoot it. We're gonna try to dominate some more leagues. We're going back to the playoffs. I won a championship in Yahoo. That's gonna qualify me to go into a championship only league in Yahoo. And I have yet to get that last championship in the championship league. And I want it this season. So I'm gonna take you guys with me. Big shout out to all the subscribers. This is who I do it for. Holler at your boy.